everyone, today I'm here to do another tag video. Today I'm doing a tag I've already done on this channel. It's been a trend this past couple years to redo old tags. I am doing the Reader's Problems book tag. So like I said, I have done this tag before. Did it a couple years ago, 2014, and I looked back on it and I was like, I could have answered these a lot better. It could have been a lot more fun, and so I decided to redo it because when I filmed that, my son was literally less than 2 months old, so I was very sleep deprived and had a lot of postpartum depression, so I was like, let's just redo this because it'll be a lot funner, and of course my answers probably will change. So I will link my tag that I did a couple years ago down below, as the original tag which About to Read made. So anyway, without further ado, let's get on to the questions. The first question is you have 20,000 books on your TBR. How in the world do you decide what to read next? Well, that is a lot. I don't know if that will ever happen to me because I get overwhelmed when I have like 25 books on my TBR. I'm like, oh my gosh, what to read next? What to read next? So I'm not going to imagine about the 20,000. I'm just going to imagine I have a lot of books on my TBR. What to read next? Honestly, it depends on what I'm in the mood for. A lot of times I'll try to read new releases a lot. That's just something I do. Trying to change that, honestly, this year. I'm trying to read some of my older books that are on my TBR. Honestly, the way I can answer this is whatever I'm in the mood for. There's no really set things to do in my TBR. I am trying to do monthly TBRs this year, but even that's kind of a loose structure. I don't really like necessarily say, these are exactly the books I'm gonna read this month. So yeah, just whatever I'm in the mood for. The next question is, you're halfway through a book and you're just not loving it. Do you quit it or are you committed? If I am halfway through the book, I will commit because I've already devoted, let's say it's a 400-page book. I've already devoted 200 pages into it. I'm going to finish that sucker through. I am a very adamant person where if you don't love a book within the first 100 pages to set it down, and I've broken that rule before because there are books that I love, but I hate the first 100 pages of. The Raven Boys by Max Seabutter. The first 100 pages of that book are so hard to get through. It was tough. I cannot believe I didn't DNF that one because of that. So, you know, it depends on the book, honestly. There have been some people that say there are certain books where you just have to persevere through the first half, and there's some books that, and there are some people that says, you know, just quit after the first half. It all depends on the book. If I am 100% hating the book, I will put it down. But if I'm already halfway through, I will finish it because I've already devoted half of my time for half of that book. The end of the year is coming and you're so close but so far away on your Goodreads challenge. Do you try to catch up, and how? I don't try to catch up. Well, I guess it depends on how many books. If there's 5 books and it's like December, it's probably not gonna happen. But if it's like 2 books, then maybe I could make it happen. I think a lot of people put unnecessary stress on themselves when it comes to the Goodreads challenge. I think they're like, oh crap, oh crap. I think I used to be that way, but now I'm like, if I hit that goal, great. If I don't, great. Either way, if you're reading, that's amazing. I guess for this one, I'd have to say I don't try to catch up. If it happens, if it happens. It doesn't, it doesn't. I try to set, honestly, a very low goal for myself with Goodreads, and I usually exceed it. So I would say that, like, set your expectations low, then maybe you'll like fly through them. I mean, is that a bad way to go through it? It works for me. The covers of a series you love do not match. How do you cope? Oh, I have talked about this countless times on my channel. There's one series in particular that I really don't like. I am not a fan of cover changes. Hear me out. I'm a fan of cover changes if the series is already done. If it's midway through the series and they change the covers, I am not a fan of that. There is literally no point in that, especially when it comes to a trilogy. You've already bought 2 books with the same cover scheme and then they change it on the 3rd one. Why? Why? It really makes no sense why publishers do it. And I'm going to show you the trilogy that I'm probably talking about it because I talk about it a lot. That is the one that upsets me the most, and that is the Across the Universe trilogy. A trilogy which I love, by the way. And I love the first 2 covers of the trilogy. They're both beautiful. They represent the book great. It's like intergalactic love and space, and I really love the cover scheme of this. And then they released the 3rd one, and it looks nothing like the first 2. Why do we do this? I wouldn't have been upset about this, I think, as much if they did it immediately after the first one. They have books 2 and 3 similar to this cover scheme, but they decided to wait until the last book to change it. Like, I've already invested my money in buying 2 books. I'm not going to go out and buy the same 2 books over again just so it matches this one. I, quite frankly, do not have the money for that to know why they do that. That is something that really bugs me. If the series is finished and you release all new covers, that's totally fine. I already own them, Jack, so it doesn't offend me at all. Even if it's like 1 book in and they change it, I think I'm a little peeved, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, I hate my life. This makes me upset. So how do I cope? I don't cope. I'm angry about it forever, apparently. I will not let it go. Everyone and their mother loves a book and you really don't like it. How do you bond? Who do you bond with over shared feelings? I usually bond over Twitter. I will tweet my feelings and somebody usually will respond. Or Goodreads. I know that there is always a book out there that somebody doesn't like and I usually read the review and be like, I completely agree. So I guess Twitter and Goodreads would be my answer. I don't know. And don't feel pressured. If you don't like a book that a lot of other people love, that's okay because everyone has different opinions. There has been several books that I've read that I don't like as much as other people like. You're reading a book and you're about to start crying in public. How do you deal? Oh, this is a good question because this has never happened to me before. I don't read in public, honestly, because I don't have time. I guess we're talking about like Subways or I don't know. I used to read like in the grocery store when I was waiting in line, or I used to be, but I don't do that anymore because kid life. I guess if I were to put myself in that situation, I would stop reading that book. Honestly, I would just have to put it down and set it aside. I have to do that, honestly, when I'm at home. A lot of times if I'm reading very emotional books, I have to take breaks while reading it because I'm like, I need to get myself in check. I can't be the one that does that. So I would have to take a pause and wait till I got home so I could sob it out, or at least into the car. In the car, you know. A lot of crying happens in the car. I've cried several times in the car. A sequel of a book you love just came out, but you've forgotten a lot from the prior novel. Will you reread it, skip the sequel, try to find a synopsis on Goodreads, cry on frustration? Oh, this is another good question. I love all these questions. Honestly, what saved me, I know a long time ago, I think when I want to say it was one of the books in the Raven Cycle, and I honestly forgot what happened in the first book. And I don't, honestly, it sounds horrible, but I don't have a lot of time to reread books, so I was like, oh crap. So I did a lot of Goodreads, and then I found this site called Recaptains, which they actually recap books in previous series. So I love that site. I will link it down below if ever I am in a series. Like, honestly, when I'm going to read the last book in the Fifth Wave series, I have forgotten a lot about what the first two are about. So I'm going to have to go back to that site and kind of reread about what it's about. And they just tell you, like, basically what happened in the end of the last book and all that kind of stuff. They just really, honestly, recap you on the thing. So that's where I go to firsthand when I am reading a series and I forgot what happened in the previous one. Recaptains.com. They are amazing. Or Recaptains. It's one of those, but they are amazing. You do not want anyone, this says in caps lock, borrow your books. How do you politely tell people no when they ask? I don't have this problem a lot because a lot of my friends do not read books. I have a couple of friends that read books, and I actually lend them my books. And one of my very good friends, Rachel, the only one I will lend books out to. Learn my lesson with that. I have lent out so many books, and they are not in my shelves again because they're still with that person, aka Ready Player One. I lent it out to a coworker forever ago. Still don't have it back. So it all depends on who you trust to give your books back to. I only have really one friend that I could do with. Reading ADD. You picked up and put down 5 books in the last month. How do you get over your reading slump? It all depends on the person. For me, honestly, the surefire way for me to get out of a reading slump is to read a contemporary. Contemporaries are like my slump, like, medicine. I don't know, like the pill that you take. They're like my slump medicine. If I want to get out of my slump, I will pick up a contemporary, and I find no shame in that because contemporaries are light, fast reads for me, and they usually are books I like, but there are very few there's a few contemporaries that I love, but most of the time I just really like them and they're just what I need at that moment, just something fast and quick to read. And contemporaries will usually get me out of a slump. It's in like a 2.5 week slump at the end of December going into January, and I could not finish any book. I wasn't interested in any book, and I picked up a contemporary, and that set me right back on track. So it all depends. If you have a certain genre that you love and you can read like eating candy, which is amazing, I'd say pick that series up. If you like mystery like nobody's business and you can read 5 mystery books in a row, read a mystery to get you out of that slump. Now, if you're in a slump because of mystery books, I don't know how to help you, but I don't know, that's just something that I do. Contemporary is my way to get out of a slump. There are so many new books coming out that you're dying to read. How many do you actually buy? Try not to buy too many books, honestly. I only really buy books that I know I'm interested in, that I know I'm going to read. Usually, a lot of the times, the new releases that I know for sure I will buy are continuations in series, that's for sure, or if it's an auto by author for me. I don't buy too many books where I don't know who the author is, or it's kind of like a, I don't know much about this book. So I do my research before I buy buy new releases. So let's say there are 10 new releases. I maybe will buy 3 of them. It depends. If they're all 10 auto-buy authors, then I have to buy all of them. But Lord, that's a lot of money. So I don't know for this answer. I don't know. The last question is, after you've bought the new books you can't wait to get to, how long do they sit on your shelf before you get to them? Oh boy. Doesn't every reader struggle with this? It depends on what I'm in the mood for, honestly. I'm looking at a pile of books that I've just bought recently because I had a little extra money, so I splurged a little bit, which is like 4 books for me is splurging. And I really want to get to all of them, but I don't know which one I'll get to first. It all depends on the mood for them. I try to keep a rule. If it's been on my shelf for over a year and a half, it's either got to be read immediately, like when I'm looking at it, or it's got to go, because obviously if it's been on my shelf for a year and a half, I have no like real push to read it, and I don't want it to sit on my shelf when I can give it to somebody that will read it. Does that make sense? So I don't know. I'd say within a year. Is that bad or is that good? I'm not sure. So that was it. That was the Reader Problems book tag. I gotta say, this is one of my favorite tags I've done because it really talks about reading and not particular books, but how you read and your buying habits and your reading habits and all that kind of stuff. So I really enjoyed it, and I highly recommend you do this tag as well if you were interested in it. If you like this tag, be sure to give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe, and I will see you in my next video.